Most investors make their worst decisions in the worst moments. Markets drop 15% in 2 weeks, and suddenly everything feels wrong. You sell, you freeze, you change your whole strategy based on one bad month. Institutions do not do that. Not because they have better instincts than you, but because they have a document written in advance that tells them exactly what to do when things get scary. Today, you are going to build one of those documents using AI. Welcome to the AI Portfolio. I am Abdul, and this channel is about using AI tools to become a more thoughtful, more organized investor. Quick disclaimer before we start: nothing in this video is financial advice. I am not your advisor. I do not know your situation. What I am showing you is a framework. You take it to a licensed professional before acting on anything. An investment policy statement is a personal document that defines who you are as an investor. It captures your goals, your time horizon, how much risk you can actually stomach, what assets you will hold, and the rules you will follow no matter what the market is doing. Every major pension fund, endowment, and institutional investor has one. The Yale Endowment has one. Your state pension has one. The reason is simple. When $50 billion is on the line, you cannot afford to make emotional decisions. The document decides, you just execute. Retail investors almost never have one, and the cost shows up every time they panic at the bottom or chase momentum at the top. Until recently, creating a serious IPS meant hiring a financial planner and paying for a few hours of their time. The output was generic, written in boilerplate language, and often sat in a drawer untouched. AI changes this in two ways. First, it can ask you the right questions and turn your answers into a structured document in minutes. Second, it can explain the reasoning behind each choice in plain language, so you actually understand what you wrote. You are not outsourcing the thinking. You are using AI as a structured thinking partner. The goal is a document that sounds like you, reflects your real situation, and is specific enough to actually guide a decision under pressure. The first prompt builds the foundation. Open your AI tool of choice and say something like this: I want to build an investment policy statement. Help me define my investor profile. Ask me about my financial goals, time horizon, risk tolerance, and liquidity needs, one question at a time, and then summarize my answers into a clear investor profile section I can use. Let the AI lead the conversation. Answer honestly. If your real risk tolerance is low, say it. If you have a mortgage payment in 6 months, say that too. The output should be a paragraph or two that describes who you are as an investor in specific terms, not vague words like moderate, but actual numbers and timelines. Once you have your investor profile, use it as input for the second prompt. Paste what you just wrote and say, based on this investor profile, suggest an asset allocation with specific percentage ranges for each asset class. Then write a rebalancing policy that tells me when and how to rebalance, including a trigger-based rule and a calendar-based rule. The AI will propose something like 60% equities, 30% bonds, 10% cash, or something different based on your answers. Push back on anything that does not feel right. Ask it to explain the reasoning. Ask what happens to this allocation if you are in a bear market for 2 years. Use the conversation to stress test the allocation before it goes into your document. This is the most underrated part of the whole document, and the one most retail investors never write down. The third prompt asks you to define your behavior rules in advance. Say this: help me write a personal trading rules section for my IPS. I want to define what I will do and what I will not do as an investor, including rules about market timing, individual stock picking, checking my portfolio during volatility. and making changes during drawdowns. Format it as a simple list of rules with a one-sentence reason for each. The output becomes a personal contract. When you are tempted to do something impulsive, you open the document and check it against your own rules, written before the emotion hit. After you run all 3 prompts, you have 3 sections: your investor profile, your asset allocation with rebalancing rules, and your personal trading rules. Ask the AI to combine them into a single formatted document. Say, combine all 3 sections into a single investment policy statement. Add a short introduction that explains what this document is and when I should refer to it. Keep the language plain and direct. This is for me, not for a bank. Save it somewhere you will actually find it. A PDF works. So does a note in your phone. The format does not matter. What matters is that it exists before the next market correction, not during it. A few things this document cannot do. It cannot predict what the right allocation is for you, because nobody can. It cannot replace a licensed financial planner if your situation is genuinely complex. Business ownership, divorce, inheritance, significant tax exposure. In those cases, bring the document to a professional and use it as a starting point for that conversation. It also will not enforce itself. The document only works if you actually read it when you are tempted to deviate. That part's on you. What AI can do is get you 80% of the way there in a single afternoon. Most investors have 0% of a document. 80% is a meaningful improvement. Here is your homework. Before the next episode, run all 3 prompts this week and build a first draft of your IPS. It does not have to be perfect. It has to exist. Once you have it, read it once and ask yourself, if markets drop 25% tomorrow, would this document actually help me? If the answer is no, keep editing. If the answer is yes, you are already ahead of most retail investors. If this was useful, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you Thursday.